Thank you, Prof. I'm Owarwo. Yes. It's all right. I'm Owarwo Noela. I work with IDI, and really, mine is the other end of this discussion. First off, humbled that all my teachers are here. So it's a little intimidating to have to tell them about DTG and hyperglycemia. But I think we have had a similar challenge to what Dr. Nambia has described that the pediatricians must suffer with, which is identifying the problem. So, like Eva already introduced, in December 2016, Uganda Ministry of Health decided to adopt the change to dolutegravir following WHO recommendations for primary resistance rates that were over 10%, etc. IDI was chosen as one of the pilot sites. And so in 2018, we started to substitute really a few patients that were on efavirenz-based regimen, virologically suppressed, to DTG. So they shifted from TLE to TLD, as will be referred to later. And so when there was an update in the guidelines, we took it on full swing, switching up to over 1,000 patients in a really short time from TLE and nevirapine-based regimen to TLD. About that same time, you start to observe a few things, like a few patients develop hyperglycemia, normally not the very severe forms, just days grade 1, grade 2, but a few of them will develop severe hyperglycemia, days 3 and 4. And we missed it. We thought it was normal. You have a 45-year-old male, obese, who has developed what is now diabetes. And so we were not associating anything with the other. Okay, this is busy, but it's sort of a description of the kind of patients that we're having. In summary, to help, we have patients that either gained or lost weight in this period that we reviewed. These patients, sixth column thereabout, is reflecting their random blood sugars. As we found them, some of those are fasting blood sugars, but most are random blood sugars. You can see patients have 26.6 millimoles per liter, 19.8, 12.6, 14.3, and these are among patients that, this is a mixed slide, that were either non-diabetic with worsening of their glucose control, or they were never diabetic before. And so, because of pharmacovigilance, which is a word I'm getting used to lately a lot, this was reported and discussions were held to say, is dolutegravir actually having a causal relationship with this new problem? It is not nice to burden patients with a new disease, right? So we had to do something about it. And so, okay, this is the full update of all the patients. Currently, we have about 39 newly identified diabetes patients. They have something in common. They have all been exposed to NRTIs for a really long time. These are patients who are on stavudine or AZT before. They were on this treatment for, some of them for over 10 years, and this only happened at the time of switching them to dolutegravir. So the theory we're working with is that they must have some background insulin resistance or even beta cell dysfunction that we then, with DTG triggering something else, pushes them into overt diabetes. That's what we're working with, because for the patients that were newly diagnosed HIV and of course starting on TLD as their first line, we don't have any that have developed diabetes as yet. So we think this is something else that is happening among this group of patients. There is the theory that integrase inhibitors like dolutegravir chelate magnesium, and hypomagnesemia is known to cause some level of insulin resistance. So we thought, with the background of insulin resistance, maybe from the previous NRTIs they were taking, plus now this dolutegravir, we must be pushing them over. So this was just a graphical representation of the incident cases for DM after we started to pay attention. So we might have missed some of these cases before we paid enough attention. And as you can see, that when we started to implement DTG in 2017, if you just take the yellow plot, that one, we have a clear increase in the incidence of diabetes between 2017 and 2019. Somebody asked a question about DTG causing metabolic syndrome, and from the SAILING trial and these other trials that have promoted the use of dolutegravir among treatment-naive, treatment-experienced but integrase naive, or treatment-experienced and integrase resistant HIV patients, they have described low-grade, grade 1 and 2 hyperglycemia, but never grade 3 and 4, okay? So you have a less than 1% occurrence of hyperglycemia in the population that was under study, but I think this is changing. There is some case reports for patients that were on raltegravir that developed hyperglycemia or worsening of their diabetes, and patients can tell when things have changed, right? So they self-discontinue the new drug and bring back their old drug, and they settle again. So we can't ignore it still. Yeah, this is still alluding to the same issue about the cumulative numbers increasing. And now, this is the politics, don't quote me, but we're having an assessment, a survey of sorts for sites that have reported hyperglycemia among their patients that were DTG, and those results will inform policy and will help with maybe some stratification of how we shall be giving DTG. Suffice it to say, let me say this DTG is a terribly nice drug, people. Don't refuse to prescribe it, but now we just have to take more caution as we get more information on exactly what is happening in our population. I think for me that is the long and short of my presentation.